Hello and welcome to the number workout. Today is the number 24. And I'm sure if you've been working on the number 24, you found that you can do a lot with the number 24. So let's start off with the word form. 24. All right, and let's go for factors. So we have 1 times 24. Since it ends in 4, we know it's even, so 2 goes into it. 2 times 12 is 24. We know 3 goes into it. 3 times 8 is 24. We know 4 goes into it because 4 times 6 is 24. And then 5 doesn't go in because it doesn't end with a 0 or a 5. So we know we're done. There's no other numbers between 4 and 6. All right, lots of factor pairs. Lots of factor pairs. Let's go on to multiples of 24. And I'm going to move this up to get my scrap board on here. You have scrap paper, I have a scrap board, but you might have a dry erase board too, just like me. That makes it easy. So let's start with 24 for our first multiple. So 1 times 24 is 24. Now you can be adding those 24s over here, 24 plus 24 to get 2 24s. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4. So 2 24s is 48. We can do the same, add another 24. We can keep adding. Remember, you do the way you like to do, what you feel comfortable. 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 2 is 7. 72. Or you can come over here and start doing this. So 24 times 4 is our next category. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So we have 96. Then we have 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Drop the 0, carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. So we have 120. We have 24 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. 144. Then we have 24 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Drop the 8, carry the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. 168. The next multiple we're looking for is times 8. 8 24s. 8 times 4 is 32. Drop the 2, carry the 3. 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 3 is 19. So 8 times 24 is 192. Then we have 24 times 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Drop the 6, carry the 3. 9 times 2 is 18. Plus 3 is 21. And then, of course, 10 times any number is that number with the 0. Boom. Multiples. The first 10 multiples of 24. Of course, there's infinite numbers of multiples of 24. All right, let's move on to our next category, which is fractions, decimals, and percents. Whoops. So let's check this out. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting my ratio over here as well. So fractions, 24 over 100. And if we look at all the factors of 24, 24 doesn't go into 100 evenly, 25 does. 12 doesn't, but 10 does. So 8 doesn't, 6 doesn't, but 4 goes into 100. We know that. So let's go ahead and we're going to write an equal sign here. We're going to come up with an equivalent fraction by dividing both the numerator and the denominator. The top number is the numerator, the bottom number is the denominator by 4. So if we divide both the top and the bottom by the same number, we get an equivalent fraction. So 4 goes into 24 6 times because 4 times 6 is 24. 4 goes into 100 25 times because 5 times 4 is 100. So our equivalent fraction of 6/25 is the same. It's equivalent. But we go back to our hundredths to do decimal, and that would be 0 and 24 hundredths. And that percent would be 24%. 24 out of 100 is 24%. And when we write our ratios, we can write 24 colon 100 or 24 to 100. So we're just kind of getting that up there. That's easy. And then if we were writing it in dollars, we would take the decimal and we would just put it in dollar form, just adding our dollar symbol. Okay. So let's go ahead and write this out. So this would be 24 hundredths. Getting our THS in there. Or we have 0 and 24 hundredths. Or we have $0 and 24 cents. Woo! All right. Moving right along. Move that up. Okay. So let's move on to area. Now, because we have so many factors for 24, we're going to have a lot of different areas and perimeters. So let's get started. And a lot of volumes. So let's get started with our area. So we'll start off with a 1 by, and I'm going to draw my little rectangles a lot smaller so I can fit them all on this paper. So we're going to say this is 24 wide by 1. So this would be area equals 24 times 1, which equals 24 square units. And this would be in perimeter a 24 plus 1 plus 24 plus 1, which equals 50 units. Okay, the next one would be a tall, skinny one, which would be a 1 by 24. So we write that out. 1 times 24, which equals 24 square units. And our perimeter would equal 1 plus 24 plus 1 plus 24, which equals 50 units. Now, I added these up fast because I put these two together, which would be 25, and this together, 25. That's 2 quarters, 50 cents in my mind. Sometimes I just play around with my numbers. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. If your brain takes you a certain way and you get the right answer, it's a good way. Here we go. Let's go on to our next possibility, which would be 2 by 12. So let's do a 2 wide by 12. So we're going to say this is a 2 by 12. Area equals 2 times 12, which equals 24 square units. The perimeter would be 2 plus 11, I'm sorry, 2 plus 12 plus 2 plus 12 equals And that would be 14 plus 14, which is 28 units. Wow. Put 14 here together, 14 here, 28. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So we're going to lay it down this time. And it's going to be a 12 by 2. So area equals, and we're just drawing rectangles to represent what we want. So this would be a 12 by 2, which equals 24 square units. And we would say that would be a 12 plus 2 plus 12 plus 2, which equals 28 units. It's the same as this one, but we just changed the order of the numbers. All right, we're going to go on to 3 by 8. Let me move this up so we have plenty of room here. So now we can make with our 28 or our 24 squares, we can do a 3 by 8. So I'm going to do that right here, a 3 by 8. So we're going to say this is a 3 by 8. So area equals 3 times 8, and 3 times 8 is 24 square units. And of course, the perimeter is going to get less and less because we're putting squares in the middle that we don't touch by the perimeter. So this would be a 3 plus 8 plus 3 plus 8, which equals 22 units. This would be 11 plus 11 if I put these together. All right, so let's come over here, and this time we're going to do an 8 by 3. So this is 8 wide by 3 tall. It's the same as this, but we just changed the arrangement. So the perimeter would equal 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3 equals 22 units. All right, so we did this 2 different ways. Let's go on to 4 by 6. So now this is really getting into a square looking thing. So 4 by 6, hopefully y'all can see that. So this would be a 4 times 6, which equals 24 again. And the perimeter equals 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6. And I put these together and it's 10 plus 10. So that's 20. And the other way to do it would be as 6 by 4. So I'm going to draw that 6 by 4. 6 times 4, 24. Always coming up with 24 because we're using the same amount of squares. And this would be a 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. Again, same numbers, different order, 20 units. All right. Last but not least, volume. All right. So let me move this paper up. Hopefully you can still see if you're copying. So here's my 24. 24. This right here is a 8 by 3 by 1 tall. So we can do all of these that we did at the top and add in another dimension. So let's see how we do. Volume. There's so many ways to do it. So let's do volume. We're going to do, first, we're going to do 24 by 1 by 1 equals 24 cubic units. And that's if we have one long skinny. So one long skinny, one tall, one deep. So that's what we're looking at. If I put these all in a row to make this shape, 24 by 1 by 1, it would be off my screen because I can't line them up and get them all in my focus. All right, so we can change this up. We can just change it up ourselves in this dimension up here by writing 1 by 24 by 1, and again equals 24 cubic units. Or we can change it up to 1 by 1 by 24. We're just changing the order of our multiplication. We still get those units. Now, if we look at this and we want to do 2, and I can show you that. Whoops. Let me get you 2. So this is a 12 by 2 by 1. So I'm just going to show you what these are. You can draw them out. Let me put it up here. So this is a 12 by 2 by 1. So 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 1 is 24 cubic units. So this is one shape, one rectangular prism. We can turn it like so and take our view from here, and it would be a 2. And hopefully you can see all that. Oops, let me bring it down. There. All right, so now this is a 2 by 12 by 1 tall. Which equals the same. Okay. Now we're going to change it up and we're going to turn it this way, but we're going to stand it up. And this is going to be a 12 by 1 deep by 2 tall. Still get our 24. Then we're going to turn it this way. And here we have, I'm sorry, let's lay it down. Now we have a 2, whoops, I'm sorry. Let's stand it up like this. Whoa. Now we have a 2 by 1 deep by 12 tall. That's different than what we've done so far. Then the other way we can do this. So we've started off with 12 wide, 2 wide. So we did 2 different 2 wides and 2 different 12 wides. Let's do 1 wide. So we're going to turn it this way. And it is 1 wide here by 2 deep here by 12 tall. Again, equaling. Now we can leave it 1, but now we're going to lay it down this way. And now it is a 1 by 12 deep by 2 tall. All right. So when we have 3 different numbers, we can make it into 6 different shapes, 6 different perspectives here. All right, let's go to the next one. So now the next one is 3 by 8. So let's get those on the road here. So there we have our shape. We can turn it all different ways. So let's see if you can figure out how to do it. Let's start off with 3 being first. So we can do 3 times 8 times 1, or we can do 3, start with the 3 again, but this time put the 1 here and the 8 here. So these are the different ways we can do it. And of course, these all equal 24 cubic units. And you're writing those down. So this is a 3 by 8 by 1 tall, or we can do 3 by, let's see, that's 3 by 8. No, this is the 1, right? Okay, 3 by 1. So that would be this one. Let me get this, stand this up. So now this one would be 3 by 1 by 8. There. All right, let's do the next one and let's make it 8 is the first one. So it would be 8 wide. And this one here is 8 wide by 3 deep by 1 tall. Then we have 8 by 1 deep by 3 tall. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm just writing these all out. They're this, it's the same cubes. All right, now we're going to bring the 1 to be the first digit on our multiplication, our first number. So here we go, 1 across by 8 deep by 3 tall. And then we have 1 across. Now, 1 across, 1 width by 3 deep by 8 tall. All right, what do you think? So we have 1, 2, 4, 6. We're done with that one. When there's 3 different numbers, we can put it in 6 different combinations. And we're moving on to the next one. So you can draw them or you can just write down all the possibilities. So now we're doing a 4 by 6. So I'm going to change my thing up. And now we have 4 by 6. So you can see I have the same cubes. I haven't added anything to it. I'm just changing their dimensions. So let's start off here with the 4 being our width. So 4 by how many deep? 6 by 1 tall equals 24 cubic units. All right, so now let's change this up. We're going to make it 4 by 1 by 6. So then it would go like this. 4 across by 1 deep by 6 tall. 24 is a big number here. Lots to do with 24. Okay, so we got 2 with the 4 in the front. Now let's do 1 in the front. 1 by 6. No, I'm sorry, 1 by 4. Silly me, 1 by 4 by 6. So it's 1 across, 4 deep, 6 tall. Isn't that a beautiful 4 right there? Psh, that's a 4. All right, now let's do 1. Oops. Times 6 times 4. Now, how would that look? Well, we want it 1 by 6 long, so then we just turn it this way. 1 by 6 by 4 tall. All right, now we need the 6 to be in the front. So we just turn it this way, 6 by 1 by 4. 1 back, 4 tall. And then we were going to do 6 by 4 by 1. So that would be 6 by 4 by 1 tall. How many ways can you do it? Pretty good. And that's it. That was a lot of volumes, a lot of ways to view 24 cubes. Lots of ways to do it. All right. That's it for today. The number 24 is crazy. Have a good day. I'll see you for the number 25 the next time we meet.